I'm Patrick.
I'm Joel.
Today we are reviewing Whiplash.
Coming up next. So today we are reviewing the 2014 movie Whiplash, directed by Damien Chazelle, and it features Andrew Neiman, played by Miles Teller. He's a first-year student at the Schaefer Conservatory, and he's discovered by Fletcher, who's the conductor of pretty much the premier jazz band at Schaefer, and he invites him to be a part of it. So what did you think about the movie, Patrick?
I mean, I love this movie. It's so intense, and it just keeps you engaged basically like the whole entire time. Like you're right on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think a specific scene we really have to talk about, which originated from like the original short film, which I was watching today, is like, is the scene where he's in the actual jazz band of like the first day.
Not quite my tempo.
Yes, exactly. The famous the dragging or rushing scene.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to like break that scene down, I just want to take a moment to talk about J.K. Simmons' performance as Fletcher. I mean, I would say one of the best performances I've ever seen, certainly one of the best in this century. And I think the thing about him that stands out is not only is he menacing and manipulative, but he's hilarious. Like in that scene, there's a player that's out of tune, and he basically fools this guy named Metz into thinking that it was him when really he wasn't out of tune, and he calls him Elmer Fudd. He's like, "You tell me, Elmer Fudd, are you out of tune?" It's just hilarious. I think the movie really balances the humor with the intensity of it, and it's flawless in the pacing, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think, I mean, just in that scene with J.K. Simmons, like, the way he goes up to Neiman and he just starts talking to him, and like his character's just completely different. He tricks him, he's acting like a nice guy. Yeah. And then suddenly, like, it's like, oh, we got Buddy Rich here. And then suddenly he just throws a chair right at him. I mean, that just catches you like completely off guard. And it's just like shows how unstable his character is. He
just flips a switch. And he uses like Neiman's personal life. Like he talks about like his mom running out, and he uses that to like insult him when he messes up. It's just, his character's so manipulative, but it's an incredible performance to say the least.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite scene, would you say? I mean, it's jam-packed with a ton of classics, but... I mean,
I love that scene, but if I was to choose another one, probably the end, just because, it's just... Yeah. I mean, when I was watching, I was like, I grabbed like 2 pens, and I was like playing the drums along with him. And I mean, it's great when he comes back on, he just starts keying like people into play with him.
Fletcher tricks him, like gets him on this ensemble, and he doesn't know the music, and then he brings it back to Caravan, and he just kills it.
Yeah.
But I really like this scene. It's before one of their performances, and he's like, "I'm not gonna like be so nice anymore." And then some guy comes into frame, and he's like, "Get out of my sight before I demolish you." Like he just flips a switch, and it's great.
No, yeah, he really does.
Yeah. What do you think about the overall message of the movie? Like, I think it can be interpreted in like so many different ways and themes.
Well, I mean, I think it's just kind of show you can really get wrapped into something, and that can kind of like screw up your whole entire life. Because, I mean, like he breaks up with his girlfriend because he thinks that it's, she's gonna be a distraction. And ultimately, like, he calls her, but like she's with someone else. So it ends up not working out in the end. But the only thing with that is like, I mean, the ending is very like, we don't know exactly where it goes from there. Like he goes back into the music. Yeah, maybe he becomes like in that downward spiral type of thing again, or maybe he succeeds and he's fine. I never really thought about that. Like, that ending just really. What do you think? What do you think happens? I mean, I think it's kind of showing that he might be Fletcher's like star student, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
At least I think Fletcher gives him that look at the end. That's kind of him like realizing this is that student like, that I've been looking for.
That's really true. That look is crazy. It reminds me of in La La Land, another Chazelle movie. He always has that intense look at the end of his movies. But I really think it shows you that passion and enjoyment, it can lead you to a dark place, and it can become an unhealthy obsession. And I just think it really, portrays that in a great way. Allows you to kind of step back and see like what you're giving attention to in your life. Like, I think you can definitely kind of apply that theme of obsession to like to your own life. Maybe not to that extent, but you know, it's very eye-opening.
Yeah, I think another scene we should definitely talk about is when they're performing and he forgets his drumsticks or whatever, and he gets hit by a car.
Oh my gosh!
And he just keeps going.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw that scene, and even till now, it always kind of makes me jump. Yeah. Even though I know it's gonna happen, it's like so out of nowhere. Like, you're already tense. He forgets his drumsticks, and you're already tense. He's like, okay, Fletcher's gonna cut him, whatever, and then car accident, and he somehow makes it back. I mean, and you just gotta feel for him. I mean, he's trying to drum and he just can't. He drops the stick. That scene's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. You have any other thoughts on the movie?
I mean, I think another thing we could talk about maybe is like the coloring. Obviously, it's like known for being like, it's really like yellow, and
it's got like a really warm tone.
Yeah, what
do you
really interesting. Like? Why do you think they did that?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, maybe it kind of offsets the intensity of the movie, maybe. Like, I feel like sometimes, especially when they're practicing, it's kind of like a mellow lighting, and it seems like kind of chill, kind of relaxed, and then obviously Fletcher's the exact opposite of that. So that's probably what I would say.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I was watching the short film, which it doesn't have like all that coloring, and it's like a completely different experience.
Yeah. What is the short film like? I've never seen it compared to the feature length.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's that scene, the rushing or dragging scene, basically.
Okay.
It's based off that. It has J.K. Simmons in it.
Yeah.
Not Miles Teller. That plays Neiman, but it is really good. It's basically like all the same lines and everything.
Yeah.
But it's still very intense. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I think like J.K. Simmons' performance is obviously top notch, but Teller is great too.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people thought Teller was gonna start this, you know, just crazy like blow up in Hollywood, and he's obviously been very prominent, but not like a Glenn Powell like lately. It seems like he's kind of picking his roles. He's thinking about him a lot, but he is extremely great in that role at a young age. And I just think the whole cast in general does a great job together, especially with all the drummers that he interacts with. But yeah, I think it's a great movie. What would you give it out of 10?
I mean, this is like one of my favorite movies, so I have to give it a 10 out of 10.
That's very fair. I'm gonna give it a very strong 9.
Thank you for watching.
See you next time.